Okay, for my food presentation, I will be talking about pho. Pho originated from northern Vietnam in the mid-1800s. It is a combination of French and Chinese tradition to make something that is uniquely Vietnamese. It has rice noodles and spices that originate from China and a red meat influence from the French. The name pho is even theorized to have come from the name of a French soup. Pho was introduced to the US by refugees leaving Vietnam, and most of the pho you find in the US is South Vietnam style. A little bit about cultural debates surrounding pho. This was just one example from an American blogger that posted a recipe and called it chicken pho, and this received some backlash from many Vietnamese Americans who were saying that it was misappropriating culture and its people, and that caused her to later change the name of the recipe, but it did spark a little bit of controversy just about what pho is the best or what is the original pho. And this was all at the time of the rise of Asian hate crimes. So it was just a big deal having to do with respecting Asian cultures and not misappropriating them. A little bit about the nutrition composition. This is a little screenshot of a standard beef recipe, or what you'd expect from most beef phos. This is not the nutrition facts from the exact pho that I had, because I did get that at a restaurant and did not have access to a nutrition label, but this is just kind of what you can expect from a general serving size of pho. As you can see, it's 638 calories, 128 calories from fat. There's 47 grams of protein, so lots of protein. So a lot of fiber. It is kind of heavy on sodium, but I'll just give you all a minute to look at that so you can kind of get a feel for what is in pho. Alright, so for the health and disease portion, the pros of pho is that it has bone broth for healthy joints, ginger, which reduces inflammation, it's a great source of protein, and you receive lots of other nutrients from the herbs and vegetables. Some of the cons is that it is very high in sodium, which can lead to heart disease, high blood pressure, and stroke further down the line if you are intaking too much sodium. So that's just a thing to watch out for, but other than that, this is about how to tell the quality of your pho and if it's fresh. For the meat, if the meat is slimy, discolored, smells rancid, then it's not fresh. As far as the broth goes, it'll have a bad smell and possibly bubbles of bacteria if it has expired. And the noodles will not last very long in the broth and will be mushy if they're old. So if it is old pho that has been reheated, the consistency of the noodles will be all mushy and falling apart, so you'll know that it's not fresh, and same if it's just been sitting out for a long time. The agricultural information. As far as sustainability goes, producing rice and beef does release a lot of methane gas, which is not the best for the environment. Then for the seasonality, rice has a long grow time and a short harvest time, so it will be growing for a long amount of time, and then there's a short window where all the rice can be collected, and the rice is important for the rice noodles. And then for the cattle farming, that happens all year long. And then as far as availability goes, both the rice and meat are very easy to find and can be cheap, especially depending on the cut of the meat, for example. So those can be easily accessible. How it is prepared. Pho is prepared by combining beef broth with rice noodles and adding thinly sliced red meat. It is often seasoned with ginger, roasted onion, black cardamom, coriander seed, fennel seed, clove, cinnamon. It is then garnished with typically like a bean sprout, onions, herbs, lime, and other various sauces and more. Now for the taste test. I personally love Vietnamese food. One of my favorite restaurants back home is a Vietnamese restaurant. So I think adding pho to my repertoire was a great thing I did. I 100% recommend it. It is delicious, and I will have to find other places around Knoxville where I can try it. I got my pho specifically from this restaurant here in Knoxville. Here's a picture of the pho I got. It is made with broth, rice noodles, beef, meatballs, tendon, herbs, and onion, as you can see in the picture. It is a very meat-heavy pho, but it was very delicious. Now, as far as cultural and social comparison goes, the main thing I noticed was when pho is eaten. In Vietnam, it's very common to eat pho for breakfast, lunch, dinner, all times throughout the day, which I think is something Americans don't really do. Like, you are not typically eating a soup or broth noodle combination in the morning. That's not a very common breakfast food. So I think that was a interesting comparison. And then for the cultural aspect or the social aspect, Vietnam is the 5th largest rice producing country in the world. So rice farming creates a lot of jobs in Vietnam, which is a great large factor to their economic system. So it does provide a lot of jobs, which is great for their economy. Here are my references. And that's about all. Thank you guys for watching, and go out and try some pho.